quiet the mind and rise above.
Just take a moment to quiet and breathe that in and feel that love. We know that the true teacher is within. It is the Christ within us. And so we listen inside and hear what God has to say to us. Amen. Amen. All right. Well, welcome. I bring you greetings from Unity of Chesapeake, which is in Norfolk, Virginia. That's where I was last week. And they invited me to do their board retreat and to speak on Sunday. So I bring you greetings, and I took them greetings with you. So it's good. It's good when we connect with each other in unity. So, and I know y'all had a good time with Don Silo. I heard he was a lot of fun, wore his pink shirt and told his story. That's good. He's a great guy. So I'm glad he was here. So this month of May, we are focusing on divine love and on divine oneness. And so I invite you to affirm this with me. This one's a little complicated to do hand motions, but we'll come up with something. And you're welcome to do whatever you want. The main thing is to get yourself engaged. Just blinking your eyes or wiggling your toes or tapping your finger or just putting a smile on your face. Anything to get your energy engaged is good. So in Unity, we know that I made him do this too last week. So we know that in Unity, we use affirmations not to make things true, but why? All right, we do. All right. So let's align with this 3 times. Here we go. All right. We are now and forevermore one in the love of God. Again. We are now and forevermore one in the love of God. Let us sink in the 3rd time. We are now and forevermore one in the love of God. Amen. That's the truth. All right. I'm going to share with you some sort of twisted Mother's Day jokes. The famous mother said. So, Humpty Dumpty's mother said to Humpty, Humpty, I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, don't sit on that wall. But would you listen? No. Michelangelo's mother said, Mike, can't you paint on the walls like other children? Do you know how hard it is to get that stuff off the ceiling? Batman's mother said, that's a nice car, Bruce, but do you know how much the insurance is going to cost? And Albert Einstein's mother said, but Albert, it's your senior picture. Can't you do something with that hair? The best one. Jonah's mother. That's a nice story, Jonah. Now tell me where you really were the last 3 days. You know, real mothering has to do with that integration of love and wisdom. So these mothers are loving, but they weren't taking any steps, you know? And that's what real love is about. Love is about that connection and that knowing that we are one and doing that with wisdom, knowing that in that oneness we also are individuals. And that as we express that oneness and as we express that love, we do it with lots of respect for ourselves and for other people. That love and wisdom always work together. They're 2 of our Christ powers, 2 of our aspects of our spiritual life, of our Christ nature. And they always work together. They're brothers. Literally, the disciples that they represent are the brothers, John and James. And so they always work together. And they bring balance and harmony into our lives and into our earth. Our earth is really calling out for balance. Have you noticed? Big time. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on today. But it's that balance that is being asked for, that balance, and we bring in that love in so that we know that we are one with ourselves, with spirit, with our earth, and with other people. And it is in that balance of love and wisdom. That's how we bring forth good. That's what is where the value is in life. That's where the joy is in life. That's where the wholeness and the well-being comes from in life. So we're going to talk a little bit about what love is. It's much more than just a feeling. It literally is, as I said, it's a power. It's a spiritual power. And one of the most beautiful explanations of love is found in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. So I'm going to share some of that with you. This is the Apostle Paul as he's writing to the church in Corinth. So he writes, If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I'm just full of it. He says, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. How about that? You can be as eloquent and interesting and entertaining, but if you're not coming from that place of love, it's just a bunch of noise. It's just a bunch of noise. And he goes on and he says, if I have prophetic powers, and if I understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I'm nothing. So he's listing a lot of very powerful, positive qualities there. He's talking about faith and prophetic understanding and understanding mysteries and knowledge and so on and so forth. But if I don't have love, if I don't have that connecting reality, it's not worth anything. It's not going to go anywhere. You know? If in our lives it feels like we're failing to bring forth whatever it is that is truly in our soul purpose or what it is in our heart's desire, if it seems like it's just not happening, one of the main things that we can do is go back and say, where's the love? You know? Am I coming from a place of love? Am I coming from a place of oneness? Am I coming from a place of understanding that I belong in this amazing universe, that I have a purpose, that I'm here because I am needed and I'm wanted and I'm willing to let go of those things that would impede love, those things like resentments and hardness of heart and fear, all those things. I'm willing to do the work to get those things released and healed so that I can let the love flow even more freely. So then he goes on and he says, if I give away all my possessions and if I have owned my body so that I may boast, but I don't have love, again, he's talking about martyrdom. He's saying if I give everything away and if I allow myself to be martyred, you know, because of my beliefs or just because of who I am, but I'm not doing it from a place of love, I am nothing. It's not coming from anywhere that's going to have any lasting value. It's not coming from a place that has this oneness. So then he goes on to talk about what love is. So here it is. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It doesn't insist on its own way. It's not irritable or resentful. It doesn't rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And then he talks some more, and then at the end of that, in verse 13, he says, and now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. And the greatest of these is what? Love. The greatest of these is love. And then, so he gives us a wonderful description there and a wonderful explanation of what love is. That it's willing to be patient and to be kind and to be present in the moment because it is expressive of that understanding that we're all doing the best we can. Everybody is. If we knew better, we would do better, right? So we have that graciousness of heart toward other people. We have it towards ourselves. That's the key, is to have that graciousness of heart toward ourselves, which doesn't mean that we allow bad things to happen. It doesn't mean that we allow abusive things to happen. It simply means that we come from a place of oneness, and when we come from that place, then we're able to make choices about what actions can I take to live more fully? What actions can I take to live with that wisdom? If I couple that love with wisdom so that I make good choices, so that I have healthy boundaries, so that I am living in respect for myself and other people. So that's the power of love. It is a proactive power. And Charles Fillmore, that co-founder of our unity movement, along with Myrtle Fillmore, who we heard about today in the Daily Word, would say just because you see the difficult things in life, that's not a reason not to love. That's even a greater incentive to love, right? To pour out your love about all that you see that seems harmful or that seems hurtful, whether it's in your own life or in the broader world, to love. And what that basically means is to see the highest and best coming forward, to want the highest and best for every person involved. And so that we let go and allow that love to do the healing work. We allow it to go forth and do that. So what's the relevance of that for our world today? I think there's quite a bit of relevance. I think there's a lot. Perhaps you have noticed that we're in a bit of turbulence in our country and in our world. And so let's think about a moment about what love can do in that situation, and what is that we may be called to do, or that we are called to do, as people who are walking in this spiritual path. So what is this turbulence? In the good old metaphysical term for that is chemicalization. Chemicalization. You know, and it kind of, the image I always get, you know, is when you maybe did this in high school and then you just did it at home, or you go home today and do it, it's kind of fun. Just get some baking soda and put lemon juice on it. You know what happens, right? It opens up. Or you can even put it in a pop bottle and shake it and make a mess. Anyway. So it's that idea that chemicalization is the idea that when we are expanding spiritually, what's happening is that we are having new, greater spiritual ideas that are coming into contact with the old ideas. And those old ideas are restricted. Those old ideas are not expressive of love. Those old ideas are saying, no, I'm separate than you. You're different than me. I can't be around you. I don't like you. You can't be in my world. Or old ideas are repressive, or they say, you know, some people can have and some people can't have. Some people are okay, some people are not okay. Old repressive ideas say we can exploit this earth. You know, we can just literally run it to the ground, right? They're all restrictive ideas. They're all ideas that are divisive. They're all ideas that are repressive. And so as we grow spiritually, and as our mind and our hearts and our lives expand, and we realize that oneness, I know we are all one. Oh, this really is a world of abundance. This really is a world of joy. This really is, we really are children of the universe, as we were singing today. When we start to realize that those expansive ideas come in contact with those little mean ideas, and they make things stir up, right? Because all that is unlike God, good, love, wholeness, well-being, oneness, all that's unlike that, all those restrictive ideas and all the thought forms and all the ways that we set life up that's not expressive of that wholeness of spirit, guess what? They're going to start breaking up. They're going to start falling apart because they cannot stand as spirit is pressing out. Each and every one of us, every person is an expression of spirit. And so as spirit presses out in our lives, have you ever noticed when you start studying spiritually, you start really bearing down on your prayer meditation? Now, it's like, well, that's going to be perfect right now. So a lot of times what happens? It gets worse, right? You're like, what happened? I'm a good person, I'm doing the right things. You know? What's happening is chemicalization, is the release of those old ideas. And it is a good thing. It shows that we're growing spiritually. We're growing spiritually as human beings. We're growing spiritually as individuals. We're growing spiritually as a unity movement. It's all good. And it's not comfortable. I don't like it. It's not comfortable. And the message from Spirit is always, hang in there. One of my wonderful teachers in ministerial school, Frank Tuesday, used to say, hang in there, God is coming. Hang in there, God is coming. That's true. He didn't mean God's coming from the outside. He meant God's coming forth from the inside. So that's what we're called to do. When things look rough, when the waters are stirring, or when we're having that chemicalization, is to hang in there because God is coming forth in, through, and as us. And we are expanding our spiritual consciousness. I have an acquaintance who is quite a wonderful person. He really is a spiritual person, and he does the work. And he sometimes confers with the indigenous people from this continent who are really, the elders are really in touch with what's going on. They're really paying attention. So I asked him recently, I said, what are they saying? And he says, what they're saying is that we are coming back into balance. That the earth is crying out for the divine feminine. Yes, thank God. And he's saying, he went on and he said that what the elders are saying, they're saying, and I want to be clear, the divine feminine lives in all of us. It's not just those who are biologically or whatever female. But he said this, he said the elder said, watch what's happening. He said when there's an incident in the country, he said, watch all these, that he called it flocking. He said, watch all these women flocking. They come together in these huge groups. And out of these groups comes leadership. The leadership's coming from the ground up. It's not coming from the top down. And they're saying this is the hope, for the earth is crying out for balance. It's crying out for the divine feminine. In our terms, it's crying out for that divine nurturing mother. And they're saying that's what's happening, is that we are coming back into harmony. We're coming back into balance. When wisdom goes too far, and that can be again, in metaphysics, don't take this too far in just terms of outer things, but in metaphysics, wisdom is the fathering principle. And if wisdom goes too far without love, it becomes mean and it becomes all that divisive stuff. If love goes too far without wisdom, it becomes mushy and it has no boundaries and it has no real sense of self-respect. So what they're talking about, what the elders are talking about, is we're coming back into balance, we're coming back into harmony, and getting that fathering thing got too far going without being integrated with love. So we're bringing it back into balance. That's what's happening. We're all here because we're called to participate in that. Each in our own way. There's no one right way to do it. But one way or the other, we're all being called to participate in that harmony and that coming into balance. So I'm going to share with you what our own Charles Fillmore had to say about this. Charles Fillmore, I found these in the archives years ago when I went to Unity Village in the library and was just looking in the archives. And he wrote, not a whole lot, he wrote a significant amount about what he called the divine feminine. So I want to share a few lines with you about that. So he wrote, this was published in 1936 in Unity magazine. And he called it Man's, and he wrote it a long time ago, but gender neutral. He called it Man's Feminine Unfoldment. Interesting. So here we go. So he wrote, the mother principle must be equal with the father principle in being. When we speak of God as love, we are addressing another God. God as wisdom calls for the Father God. God as substance places us in the arms of our all-providing mother. And he also wrote, we believe that the Holy Mother, the Divine Feminine, is now being restored to her righteousness, and that she will reign equal with Jehovah in the heavens and the earth. So he saw that happening, and a lot of people talk about that it's the restoration of that balance and the bringing in of the divine love and the divine mother. That has to do really a lot with mysticism. It has to do with our willingness to live from inside out instead of outside in. So that yes, we participate in life. Yes, we build. Yes, we do. But inside of ourselves, we find that mystical connection. I call it and so we live from the inside and take interaction with the outside. I call it the Frank Sinatra gospel, doobie-doobie-doo. So we have both of those. We come from the inside and we act in the world from that place. Matthew Fox, who was a Catholic priest and is now, I believe, an Episcopal priest, who's written a lot, and certainly he's a friend of unity and speaks a lot with us and to us in unity. Well, he has a new book out, I think, so published, the Unity just published. But something that he wrote was, in the West, in the modern age, and he meant from the 1500s to the mid-1900s, we were not only ignorant of, but actually hostile to mysticism, because we were very much interested in what was going on out there. And so he said, this is why so many find religion so boring. It lacks adventure and the inner explanation that our souls yearn for. And he quotes St. John of the Cross, who was a great mystic. And St. John of the Cross said, launch out into the deep. Launch out into the deep. And the deep is within us. Our very own Elizabeth Ann Turner, who was a unity minister and unity writer, said we should have done above all else, even to this day, a devotion to Christ and a willingness to devote some time to the contemplation of that which is divine. So what all these people are telling us is that to be really full participant in this balance that's happening in our world right now, we do need to take the time to dwell in the wholeness of our being and our inner life. Everybody does that a little differently. There's no one right way to do it. But we have to take that time to get in touch with, to become aware of, to become one with our inner life, and to allow that to inform us. When we feel the gloom coming, or when we feel the anxiety coming, it's because we're focused out there and we're watching the ups and downs, we're watching the turbulence, we're watching the chemicalization. And so the opportunity is to come inside, to come in to dwell in that mystical place, in that awareness of the Christ nature. That's what feeds our souls. That's what energizes us, and that's what equips us to participate in the world from that inner place, and so be a part of bringing in that mother love, bringing in that nurturing, bringing in that wholeness. So what Jesus had to say about this, he had something to say about everything, didn't he? So he had something to say about everything. And I'm grateful that he did, because I learned a lot when I read what he said. So this is in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, starting with verse 38. This is a story that's probably familiar to a lot of you. This is a story about Mary and Martha. And in this story, the feminine always metaphysically symbolizes the soul. And it, in Mary particularly, and there are various Marys in the Gospels, it always symbolizes the soul. And in this particular story, not our very own Martha, but in this story, this Martha symbolizes not the intellect run amok, but the intellect that is somewhat cut off from its awareness of its inner life. So hear this with your metaphysical ears. So Jesus and his disciples were on their way. So it says, now as they went on their way, Jesus entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. And so she had a sister named Mary, and who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he was saying. That's a beautiful symbolism, because that's the symbolism of the soul being fed by the Christ. The feet always symbolize understanding. So that the soul is willing to understand, is willing to spend time dwelling within and communing with that inner spiritual life, which in unity we call the Christ, the individualization of God within us. And she was willing to just absorb it, just to listen, and just to be in the presence. I hope, can you relate to that? Taking time in the presence. So important. It may be your individual meditation time, it may be the time that you're out in nature, it may be the time when you're washing the dishes or taking a walk or whatever it is, but you're taking that time, you're letting your mind relax, and you're communing with the Christ that feeds your soul. So then she's sitting at Jesus' feet, hearing what he was saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks, and she came to him and asked, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me. You ever heard that one? I'm sure we all have. Okay, there's a time and place to do things. But that's the intellect that's cut off. That part of us is out there running around trying to fix it all. Do you ever get distracted and worried and just don't even know where to start? Oh my goodness, there's so much going on. Where do I even start? And we get mad and we get upset and we get resentful and we complain to God and we say, why don't you do something? You ever say that to God? Why don't you do something about all this? Yes. Well, you know, Jesus, what do you think Jesus did? You know, he didn't say, Mary, get up and go home. He didn't do that. We know what he did. He said that the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you're worried and distracted by many things. Huh? We get worried and distracted by many things. And then he says, but there's need of only one thing. And Mary's chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her. Wow. He didn't tell Mary to get up and get busy. He told Martha to be still. He said, Mary, the soul here, has chosen the better part. It has chosen to commune. It has chosen to be fed. And then from that place, it will take action. And it will be action like the action that the Apostle Paul was talking about in Corinthians. It'll be the action that means something. It will be the action that accomplishes something, because it's the action that's taking place from the fullness of love. Let divine love be made alive in me now. Would you affirm that with me? Let divine love be made alive in me now. And if you want to, turn to somebody near you and affirm that for them. Let divine love be made alive in you now. so it is. We're part of the earth and the world coming back to the balance. Let's pray. Thank you, God. Thank you that love is alive in us. Thank you for all that's happening. Guide us with love to be loved and express love. For this we're grateful. Amen.
Amen.